Hi, welcome to another episode of Hot Takes with me, the Silver Fox. We've got some absolutely startling and breaking news. Now, I thought I'd finish for the day. I wasn't going to be doing any more. But then this has just been released, and I think I've just got to come straight out with it. Latest polling by YouGov. It's been revealed. It'll be in the papers all everywhere tomorrow. You're going to see it. But it's just sort of broken at the moment. That Reform have just overtaken the Conservatives. Reform are now polling in second place in this country. The Tory party is now the third party of Britain. This is absolutely astonishing news. Now, I'm just going to go through this piece. I mean, you can imagine Farage, can't you? He'll be sitting there with a grin. He'll be off the side of his face. He'll be like the Cheshire Cat, won't he? The Cheshire Farage. Won't be quite so happy, I think, in number 10. I think there'll be a glum little man packing his bags, knowing that won't be long now, and he'll be out, off to America. But anyway, Reform UK has overtaken the Conservative Party in a poll for the first time ever. I mean, this is just stunning. It's just a major, major blow for the Tory party and generally, and for Rishi Sunak. It is final clinching proof that he must go. He must resign. Ever since he abandoned those on the beaches, it's gone downhill and it continues to go even faster. He's accelerating faster and faster into oblivion. The Tory party must get rid of him if they are to have any hope whatsoever. He must go with immediate effect. A YouGov survey saw Reform increase by 2 points to 19%, and the Tories are down to 18%. Like I say, that puts Reform now as the second party. That is absolutely astonishing. And this polling was conducted after the Conservative Party released their manifesto on Tuesday. So this is post Rishi Sunak running away from the beaches. This is a result. This is what happens when a little foreigner rises to power, doesn't understand our history, our heritage, or our culture, and then runs away from an important event like the Normandy D-Day commemoration just to have an interview with an ITV guy where he says, "Oh, sorry I'm late. That thing ran over," because it was so unimportant to him, because it's got sod all to do with any part of his history, being a little Indian man. Anyway, Anthony Wells, who is the head of European political and social research at YouGov, noted that the poll is the first one ever to place Reform ahead of the Tories. He said, and it is an absolute tipping point for the parties, for both parties, I would suggest. For both parties. He said, he told the Times, obviously all polls have a margin of error. He says, but given that this is where it is now, how high this is, he says, even he's saying it is frankly astonishing. He says it makes clear that at the very least the Conservatives and Reform are at very similar levels of support, and neither should take the other for granted. He says it is remarkable these results are what they are. He said in what might otherwise have expected smaller parties' votes to be squeezed. The smaller parties are now the party that are growing. Labour are on 37%, Reform on 19%, the Tories on 18%, other parties appear also. This is just astonishing. Now, one of the things that is coming up, not just in this YouGov, but in several polls, is how many people are yet to make up their mind. It seems to be quite high. It's running around a quarter of the electorate are still to make up their mind. And so nobody can take anything for granted, of course. But as time goes on and as more and more of these, how can you put it, political dominoes fall, it seems increasingly clear that the Tories are going to suffer their worst result ever. And it's all as a result, of course, of one little man. one little man who shops, at the Action Man store for his tiny pairs of trousers. And there he is with his little eagle eyes and his gripping hands. And he has utterly destroyed the party because nobody wanted him. Nobody in the Tory party wanted him. There was just a bunch of Tory MPs who wanted him. Well, they're getting their just desserts. They've imposed this obnoxious little shart on the Tory party and on Britain. And now most of them anyway, if not all of them, are about to be unemployed. And the Tory party is about to disappear into history, unloved and unwanted. Who cares? Who cares? They've done it to themselves. And I laugh at this. Now, unless Sunak quits tomorrow morning and they impose somebody that is acceptable both to the country and, more importantly, the members of the Tory party, because ultimately we are the members who keep the party going, then the Tories are finished. Increasingly, Conservative voters are adopting the policies and voting for reform. Because make no bones about it, 90% of Reform's supporters are going to be ex-Tories. I did the video earlier that says that 1 in 4 Tory voters wants the party to get no seats whatsoever. This is how bad it is. But this is, of course, what happens when you impose little Johnny Foreigner as the leader of the party and the Prime Minister, unelected and unwanted. What do they expect? A man who has no knowledge of this country. And then he tries to be, I'm one of the people. Look at me. As I was growing up, I went several days where we didn't have Sky TV in my 6-bedroom house with a gym. Yeah, I feel your pain, Rishi. I feel your pain. It must have been awful for you. How did you cope? I mean, these people just live in an entirely different sphere of reality, don't they? But I've got to say, it is so refreshing to see. And I think fantastic. Like I say, Farage would be sitting there now, he'd have popped that cork tonight, wouldn't he? He'd be sitting there, big fat cigar, glass of champagne, looking at pictures of Rishi Sunak and laughing. And who can blame him? I'll end there. Thank you very much for watching. Do please hit the subscribe button, ring the bell, leave a like, and do, just help support the channel. It is absolutely brilliant news. Anyway, that's it for tonight. Thank you very much for your support today. I'll speak to you soon. Take care and goodbye.